Right now, I'd like to just jump back for a second. And I want to take a look at what we're going at. We know that the opportunity out there is unbelievable right now. We know that there are going to be people in both the real estate and mortgage industry that are going to make small fortunes over the next 18 months. And a few are going to make large fortunes. Not by concentrating on the money, but by concentrating on the people and helping the people, helping your clients. But as I said before, the greatest thing about both of our industries is the more people you help, the more money you make. That's pretty cool. So you have a decision to make for the next 18 months. You're already good. You want to get better. You're on this call. If you didn't want to get better, you wouldn't be on this call. But I'm going to challenge you not to get better, but to have a race to be the best you can be. And I want to tell you a little bit of a story about a 10-year-old that really explained the difference between that, between getting better and being dedicated to the best you can be. See, this 10-year-old was a basketball player, and he was playing out here in Suffolk County. You know, Long Island is an island off from New York City, and Suffolk County is the easternmost county there. And he was playing for a county championship, and the two teams were at it all game long in the championship game. His team was down 2 points with 4 seconds left, and the other team had the ball. This little point guard stole the ball from the other point guard, and from about 25 feet out, raised up and hit a three-pointer to win the game at the buzzer. The crowd went crazy. His father came running out of the stands and picked the kid up and said, "We did it, we did it." The father didn't do anything, but we was using, "We did it, we did it." But then something funny happened. See, there was this very tall, very athletic African-American man that was sitting at the top of the stands that nobody knew. Nobody in the whole gym knew. At the end of that game, he gracefully, like a gazelle, walked down the steps and walked out to center court where this little kid was and with his father. And he said to the kid, "If you want to play real basketball, come here Tuesday at 7:30. And he handed him a card and walked away. The father was really upset. "What do you mean real basketball? We just won the championship. This is real basketball." But the little kid, the 10-year-old, was looking at the card, gave the card to his father and said, "Dad, I want to go there." Now, the father picked up the card and looked at it and looked at the address on the card, and he knew, growing up in New York City, that where this gentleman was sending them was one of the worst neighborhoods of New York City. So he told the son, "I don't think we should be going there. You know, this is," and the son said, "Dad, I want to go there. I want to see what it's like." And the son kept on insisting until the father agreed to take him there. Now, when the father was driving in that night, he felt for sure when he parked the car, when he went into the gym, by the time he got out, the car was going to be gone. That's what he thought of that neighborhood. That didn't happen, but that's what he thought. And as he and his son walked into that gym, there was wild music playing, and there were kids running up and down the court at a speed and at athleticism that they had never seen before. This was New York City basketball, the best of New York City basketball. That father sat in the stands. The son was so excited to get a jersey for the team. Here he was on this new team. The coach put him in. The kid took 2 dribbles. One of the kids on the other team, who was much quicker and much more athletic, stole the ball, passed it to someone else for a layup. Now, unlike baseball, where if you strike out, you go back in the dugout and nobody looks at you, or football, if you throw an interception, you go onto the sideline and the defense comes out and tries to stop them. In basketball, when you make a mistake like that, they give you the ball right back. So now the little kid takes 2 more dribbles, stolen, in for a layup. 2 more dribbles, stolen, in for a layup. He couldn't get the ball over half court in this gym. That's how good they were. The father stood up in the stands and yelled at the coach, "Take my son out, you're embarrassing him." But the coach made him fight through that. Home that night, the little kid jumped in the back seat, not the front seat of his father's car, because he didn't want to see his father. He didn't want his father to see him crying. And the father went right into father mode. Ah, you don't need this. This is crazy. We could be out east. You know, you did really, really well. That's basketball too. We just forget about this. Make believe this never happened. And all the kid could think about was just how good those players were. So he told his father, no, Dad, we have to be back here next Tuesday, 7:30. The father went crazy. What are you talking about? And the kid said, I'll get better playing out on Long Island, but I want to be the best I could be. This will force me to be the best I can be. And then the father started to cry. Here's a 10-year-old kid saying, don't worry about the embarrassment. Don't worry about the work that's going to require. Don't worry about the fact that, you know, I'm not going to look as good. He was just dedicated to be the best basketball player he could be. That father kept on taking him back and forth to that gym, which was about 60 miles away from their home, 2 or 3 times a week, every game. And all of a sudden, that kid got good. He got real good. He went from being one of the worst players in that gym to being one of the best players in that gym. You know what happened to that little 10-year-old? Let me tell you. He made his high varsity as an 8th grader. He was voted as a team captain as a freshman. Won a Youth Basketball of America National Championships and won an AAU National Championship. Was an all-state player and a senior. Played Division I college basketball, and then went on to play basketball in Italy. When he returns to that gym in New York, he is known as Snowflake. Now, I'm not sure that's because he was one of the first white kids ever to play in that gym, or whether because his three-pointer floated down to the basket. It was so smooth. But ladies and gentlemen, in that culture, that basketball culture in New York City, you don't get a unless you're real good. And when he walks into that gym to this day, those guys on the mics that call the game will tell people, ladies and gentlemen, a true player just entered the gym. He won Coach of the Year honors for leading his high school alma mater's women's basketball team to a county championship. He decided to coach, and he decided to coach on the women's side. And he coached women's basketball at Division III level, collegiate level. You know what that kid is today? He's an assistant coach at Dartmouth, an Ivy League school, their varsity team. While he's at Dartmouth, he's also getting, from an Ivy League school, his master's degree. All because when he was 10 years old, he said, I don't want to be better. I don't want to settle for that. I want to be the best I can be. And for the 20 years since then, he's kept that. And now he's at an Ivy League school getting a master's coaching the team. I learned so much from that 10-year-old and from that kid over the last 20 years. But you know what's the best part of this story? It's my kid. Ladies and gentlemen, the only thing I'm going to say to everybody on the call, don't be satisfied with being better than you are today. Drive hard to be the best you can be.